Hey TikTok, I'm just on here wondering if anybody's feeling the same way I'm feeling. I'm from Illinois and I feel like the gas prices and the electric bills and the prices of food is just so overwhelming anymore. Like, I'm wondering if anybody else is feeling like they're drowning and they can't get out. I work overtime and I cannot get above water. I mean, I literally have no gas for next week. It was either that or get a few groceries to get by. I hit my local food pantries. I'm just wondering if anybody else feels like they're drowning. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great day.
This useless empire can finish crumbling now, for real. No, nobody wants to work in this country anymore. You want to know why? Because it's not employment when all you are doing is transferring wealth from your employer to your landlord. So no, we don't really want to work. Nobody should want to work if those are the conditions. If all we make is pennies and we don't even get to be comfortable, all we get is to prove we're worthy of existing one more day in this capitalist hell. While all of the people who are comfortable sit there and tell you, well, this is what you get for not being rich. This is what you get for not getting a good enough job, as if that ever existed. This is what you get for not getting ahead, as if that meant anything ever. Just get a better job. Just stop getting coffee. Just stop with the avocado toast. How about you just get that rich billionaire dick out of your throat? So I got some news for you comfortable morons. You're much closer to homelessness than you will ever be the billionaire tax bracket, you dumbass. If you think the people making your lame-ass fast food because you were too lazy to make food yourself don't deserve a living wage, you're the problem. Fuck this country. You want to know what the solution is? Well, I'll tell you what I would do if I were president. You know all that power they're touting, all those executive orders, all those things that they use to completely ignore all the systems we have in place for checks and balances? Fine, you don't want checks and balances? Let the president do whatever they want. Fine, so make me president so I can do whatever I want. You know what I want? I want to take all of the policy that has been doing nothing but harming people and funding money for bombing and genocide, and I want to take it to do nothing but life-alteringly good things. I want to take all the money we're using to perpetuate colonialism and capitalism and non-stop harm and oppression, and I want to use it to free these I'll give health care! I'll give universal basic income! You'll get your food! You'll get your water! You'll get anything else you need as a human! That is your right! And I won't stop bashing helpful policy through until everybody is heard and helped and seen! Free Palestine! Free the world from oppression! And if you have unfettered power, why not use it for good?
The fall of the American empire is very messy at this point. Like, I feel like we just need to rip the Band-Aid off and just get to the point. Like, we all understand that empires last around 250 years. We're at the end of that. I feel like we're holding on for nothing. Like, just let it end, let it go on, because this is not working and everyone knows that. It's the end of the empire and it's just so messy. Why are we holding on to this? Why are we still pretending like this is the system that we're going to continue to live through? I don't know what it is, but sometime during this generation and this time that I'm currently living in, there will be a change to where the system in place currently and the empire will fall and it will be a new system and a new thing. You know, hopefully it's nothing like what's going on right now. And honestly, they need to figure it out. But in my opinion, I think women already should be running the world. Like, I think women should have been running the world forever. We can't really be doing that right now if men are the ones, you know, making the choices and their ego is so easily bruised, and then it's toxic masculinity and all this, and they have access to nuclear codes. It's a bunch of men who are old and basically insecure and have fragile egos who have the nuclear codes. Yeah, that has to stop. It needs to end. We know it's the end of the American empire. It's just prolonged, it feels like, but it's just messy. I feel like we can just rip the Band-Aid off and get to where we need to go, you know?
Hi, amazing friends. I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate your love and support. So today I want us to talk about something real that I've been seeing on the internet for quite some time. A lot of Americans right now are crashing out under the weight of the cost of living, and honestly, it feels like the American dream has turned into the American struggle. Some of them are even comparing America with third world countries, and it's something crazy, right? So I managed to get a few clips for you guys to watch and also give your opinion about it. But before I play the clips, kindly like this video, subscribe to, and I appreciate you for doing that. Credit also goes to the original creators of today's episode.
This isn't the American dream anymore. It seems like the American struggle. You know, your grocery bill is the same price as your mortgage payment or your rent payment. Hope's down, rent's up. You can't find a piece of land anymore because people from other countries or big developers are coming in and they're splitting it into eighth acre lots and building houses, and then they're charging $500,000 to a middle apiece and then saying that's the American dream. American dream used to be where you could afford things, where you could afford as a family to buy a house, pay for your groceries, get good health care, get child care so that you can work. The American dream used to be about dreams. You could dream of a better life. You could dream of your own 40-acre plot of land with animals and a big garden. It used to be where you could go to your neighbor's house and ask for sugar. I wouldn't knock on my neighbor's door anymore in America because you're liable to get shot. And then they think they're right. And you see that on the news all the time. It happens every single day, it seems like, in America. Living in America now, you're required to almost speak 2 to 3 different languages just to understand everybody in a single day. That's not my American dream. My American dream is about hope. My American dream is about love. My American dream is to be able to raise a family and to put kids in school without having to worry about something terrible can happen to them. Or that the teachers don't even speak English in a lot of the schools, and the kids come home and their grades are bad because they can't understand the work the teacher's given. Folks, that's not the American dream. That's the American nightmare. This is Outlaw Unfiltered, and I'm John Collins.
So I just watched a video of a white woman literally crying about the conditions of the United States, how she has to work 60 hours and she's looking at other countries and they don't even have to work 40 hours, how they can take a train for like pennies on the dollar anywhere they want. Meanwhile, like our country's infrastructure is falling apart. How it feels like there's no support nets. It feels like all the safety nets are dissolving, and she doesn't understand why. And I both hate and love to remind these folks that the reason why the United States is the way it is because of y'all. A lot of you are the descendants of folks, or might actually be some of the folks, who were more invested in not sharing all of the programs, all of the initiatives that the United States was starting with marginalized people, specifically Black people. Y'all are some of the same folks who would have rather filled in the pools in your neighborhood than share them, shut down the schools and the libraries rather than share them, that you would rather vote against any forming of these safety nets or any protections for these safety nets rather than share them with marginalized people. Then you look up a generation or two or less later and wonder why you don't have these safety nets to protect you, because you were banking on your whiteness to keep you safe. And a lot of you learned pretty quickly after this election that you don't even have that to keep you safe, that unless your bank account has something like 7 digits in it, that the folks that you were banking on to protect you won't. And that some of the safety nets that maybe your mama or your family had relied upon, like SNAP or Medicaid or Medicare or any of those other basic safety nets, are going to be eradicated by the very people that you voted for. May I suggest, instead of crying, you strap up? The whole bootstrap thing that y'all be telling my people about. Remember that you get what you pay for. For everybody else who's not invested in crying, maybe some suggested reading. These Some of Us by Heather McGhee. It talks about how equality is not a zero-sum game. This book has torn me up several times that I've read it, but it is essential reading. So for the next few years, might want to be diving in instead of crying on the internet. Just a thought.
Today I saw a video about an American lady having an emotional breakdown after learning about the average Chinese people's lives. and crying over the fact that as a single mother, she has been working many jobs and 60 hours per week with insufficient savings to support herself and her children. Xiaohongshu also helps us Chinese better understand the suffering of the working class in America. We used to believe that those who become homeless or addicted to drugs weren't trying hard enough. Now I know that no matter how hard those people worked, it didn't offer them the happiness they deserved. On the contrary, their lives only become worse without any hope. That really suck. Even more repulsive to me is capitalism, which keeps the wealthiest people in power while destroying the lives of the most honest and hardworking citizens. Xiaohongshu now is filled with American stories of how people had to drop out of university due to financial issues, how they could hardly afford a nice meal at a good restaurant for their children's birthday, and how they had given up hope and saw no way out of their agony. I mean, China isn't without its flaws. We have our fair share of problems. However, seeing how those decent and honest American working class people suffer makes me very sad and uncomfortable. Things are not supposed to be this way. I'm not sure what I can do to help. Still, I've written articles about China's healthcare, support for poor students, an educational system that ensures no children drop out of school, the everyday expense of ordinary Chinese people, and how homeless people are rare in China. I have included links to the articles below so that you can benefit from these first-hand resources. Probably that's all I can do. A lot of people want to know my favorite thing about China. My answer is poverty alleviation. Almost 800 million people, or over 75% of world's poor people, have been put out of poverty in China during the past 40 years. One of the worst things that can happen to a person is to be poor, because being poor takes away their hope, dignity, and future. The fact that China is helping its poorest citizens warms my heart. Here's hoping that the same may happen in the United States. And I also want to say sorry that I was being judgmental, that I think those homeless people or people are suffering was because they're not working hard enough. Now I learned it's not a fact, and it's mind-blowing, seriously. Like, I saw how those Americans talking about their life, and I feel sorry and I feel sad because they're all hardworking people. I really don't know what we can do about it, but anyway, I hope everyone can be happy.
Welcome back, friends. Now, think about it. People are working harder than ever, yet they still can't afford the basics. The rent is sky high. The groceries are almost luxury items, and gas alone can swallow half a paycheck, and yet the wages are still the same. So no matter how much you grind, it's like running a treadmill without stopping. Like you're moving, but you are not going anywhere. Families are living paycheck to paycheck, and even middle-class households are slipping into survival mode. Credit card debt is at record highs because people are not borrowing for luxuries anymore. People are borrowing just to eat and keep the lights on. It's like the economy is on life support and ordinary people are paying the price. There is a video I put. The woman was crying because she took a loan just to afford her basic needs, and she said it wasn't even enough to cater for only the basics. Imagine that. The crazy part of it is that a lot of Americans now are saying that it feels like they are living in a third world country But honestly, when you think about it, in some third world countries, people still can find a way to get food and even basic help from the community. Because look, I come from a third world country, and sometimes we might not be having salt at home, for example, but I can run to my neighbor to borrow salt, right? But in the country like the US, do such things even exist? Because I've been abroad, but I don't see communal life. So if there is no communal life, it means that things like that don't even exist, which means that you can't survive in first world country like the US if you do not work. So it's like you have to pay for everything like food, water, healthcare, and even roof over your head. Like nothing comes free. And that's the reason why many people feel trapped. People are exhausted mentally and physically because it feels like no matter how much you give, the system just keeps taking more. So when you hear about the land of opportunity, it doesn't feel that way for millions right now because the dream is fading and the struggle is real. So until something changes, wages, housing, healthcare, it's hard to see how people will keep on surviving in a system that feels it's crumbling. This is the truth that many people do not want to admit, but it's the reality that many people are living in. And the worst part of it is that homelessness itself has practically become illegal. Like right now, people are being pushed out and criminalized just for not having a place to live. Like imagine punishing people for being poor instead of fixing the problem. It's really exhausting, and I pray that things get better with time. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you all. Let me know what you think about today's episode in the comments. Kindly like the video too, subscribe, share it, and take care of yourself. I will meet you in my next one. Bye-bye.